Hey people, injured here, 1v1, Fedrid Folly, blue side. It's Crewfinity as a Warboss melee commander that walks through objects, some very good offense, disruption and support from the front lines, and he is perpetually pissed off. Red side, Soul Drinkers is an Apothecary support commander that fights in melee combat by default, begins with a targeted heal and a passive health regeneration aura, can also get a pretty nifty ranged weapon in tier 1. Fedrid Folly then, pretty good and reasonably popular 1v1 map. It's not that it's big, it's that the victory points have a bit of an odd configuration. The two naturals in the north and west are reasonably close together, look at that. And you can get artillery and almost hit the other VP. And then you have the contested all the way over in the southeast corner. It's usually worth, I think, thinking about a specific unit or maybe a specific combination of units to look after this southeastern corner in its entirety, trying to lock down this VP and this contested wreck point, and also hit these powers and protect this power. Is it worth assigning a tactical marine squad with a flamer to do that? Because Crewfinity has sluggers, not the best skirmisher early on because they're quite slow, but they can get burners which will burn down the gens and deal with anything that gets into this garrison. And then when they get tier 2, get a Nob leader, they become a pretty damn good skirmisher, I think, because of Swamp'em. Shotgun scouts, of course, a great skirmisher early on with their movement speed, knockback and suppression. And if they get enough energy, they can do the knockback into a grenade, which is nasty, but we'll see. Apothecary has some decent options. You get the Master Crafted Bolter, lock down that Warboss, back it up with devastated shotgun scouts to try and lock down the entire Ork army, but the Warboss can hit you with these big bursts of damage because of his buffs. And he's going double tactical marines. Wow, was not expecting that. I was expecting double scouts into devastators, but we'll see how double tactical marines do. Warboss throwing his weight around here and forcing the Apothecary way back, and tactical marines now tied up. Get a heal from the Apothecary. Shooters adding their DPS, but I don't think he's going to get a model. He needs to focus down that Apothecary. Warboss needs to be careful. He might go down in retreat here. First engagement, that would be pretty terrible, and he does. Gonna need to repurchase for 250 wreck. That was a little bit sloppy from Crewfinity. He was definitely not gonna get a tactical marine model there, I don't think, and I know, just kind of lost sight of his Warboss going after the Apothecary there. Yeah. Scouts being annoying, capping this natural wreck point. Sluggers all the way over on the west side of the map, capping the, or decapping rather, the natural victory point of Soul Drinkers. Apothecary back out on the field. Double tactical marines. Heavy infantry, good at ranged combat predominantly, but they can hold their own in melee, especially in tier 1. Lots of upgrade options in tier 2 to make them incredibly versatile. Have a couple of unique traits. They can cap and decap 50% faster, which is not completely unique. 2 other units also can have that trait. But one of their completely unique traits is that they can swap out their weapon upgrades as many times as they want, as long as you're willing to pay each time. They can adapt very, very well. Painboy on the field for Crewfinity. Sub-commander for Orks in tier 1 has a power melee weapon that does damage over time and has a heal over time that only works on Orks. His Git Source, as it's called, can upgrade that in tier 2 to stronger Git Source, which also gives him extra health and energy, and gets the unstable fuel injection, which can be incredibly nasty in tier 2. Some assault marines now for Soul Drinkers, double tactical marines into assault marines. He's going for a very powerful and hardy tier 1. He needs to be very wary of power bashes now. Sluggers, do they have their burners? They do not. Burners gives them a nice little health increase and a couple of power weapons. And the Warboss is going to become incredibly important here, I think. But oftentimes you see the Warboss just used to cap in 1v1s, especially early on. But I think with double tactical marines and assault marines, he's going to need to be in the thick of it. He's going to need to be charging in. Yeah, he's getting his angry bits up. And the bang bang hammer will be great to buff up those sluggers as well if they get toe to toe with the assault marines. Assault marines going after the shooters who just instantly retreat there. Sluggers and the Painboy chasing down the scouts though. Has he realised this? Soul Drinkers. Scouts in trouble. Assault marines jump for the disruption. I think he was waiting for that jump. giving them a chance to jump away. Scouts do lose a model, but that's not a huge deal. And Flamer up on the Tactical Marines. Area of effect weapon, effective versus light infantry and structures. Units in garrisons and cover. Also, Apothecary just about getting away. Sluggers, of course, do have the flame-resistant armor, which is also shared by Banshees and Hormagaunts and Catechans. 412, 481, also Heretics, I believe. Painboy chasing down Assault Marine, trying to get a model. Does 50 DPS power melee with the damage over time. Will be reduced by the melee resistance aura of those Assault Marines though, and Tactical Marines of course also have melee resistance aura. 402, 481, and Tactical Marines capping, or rather decapping that fully matured rec point. 1 generator up for Crewfinity. Still no flamers and no upgrades for his shooters, so all of his power's gone into that Painboy and his Warboss stuff. Bang Bang Hammer is up, and Angry Bits, and this Bang Bang Hammer is painful. 150 damage per hit of melee every 2 seconds, so 75 DPS. It's incredibly painful, and you get that area of effect buff with each hit, which does affect all of your allies, not just your Orks. 365, 481, triple cap for Soul Drinkers, controlling the map incredibly well. He's got the numbers. Crewfinity just seems to be misplacing his shooters often, retreating them quite quickly, and he's outgunned here. Double Tax and Assault Marines all in this fight, Sluggers and Painboy. It's not going to be enough to take this on. Tactical Marines able to move away at their leisure thanks to the Assault Marine jump, and now Sluggers with a Warboss buff going toe to toe with Assault Marines, but Tactical Marines are weighing in there. He should be tying up those Tactical Marines, I think, the Painboy. Warboss is going to go down again. 319, 481. Is he? Retreating very late and goes down. Apothecary also goes down though, I think. And wow, what the heck? Assault Marines going down. What happened there? Apparently he couldn't retreat. That was mad. Didn't even realise they were going down. Was too busy looking at the Apothecary. So yeah, massive loss for Soul Drinkers. 303, 481. That must have given, yeah, look at this, almost got a level XP out of that, the Sluggers, and they do have their burners now. What about that Painboy? Also almost got a full level out of that. He'll get 800 hit points when he purchases the Stronger Git Source, which I assume he will, and shooters are bashing power. This looks like a very bad transition for Soul Drinkers now. A Death Dread could be incredibly painful here if he can get it up quickly, Crewfinity, and you've got to assume he's going to go for one. Unless he's got to go for one, surely. He might just go for a Weird Boy. But if he thinks he's at least on equal footing in terms of tech, Death Dread is going to be powerful. Get those burners a bit up, march straight to these generators. Can easily tie up the Tactical Marines with Sluggers, Warboss, and Painboy has repurchased his Warboss, which will slow him down in terms of getting that Death Dread up. I think I would have got a Death Dread before getting a Warboss on the field, but we see a power harass here from Soul Drinkers, replacing his Assault Marines in tier 2. A brave choice, but a pretty decent choice, I think. He can get that Merciless Strike up from the Sergeant and do a lot of damage to these Sluggers, especially if they don't have their Nob Leader, but they are getting a Nob Leader. So that's going to be some really important fights we're going to see, I think. The Warboss puts Ard Boys on himself, I should say, one of his global buffs. 25% damage resistance to all damage types, I believe it is now. What's this? It's Scouts thinking away. Can't believe he lost his Assault Marines. I wasn't even watching them at all. Gonna see. Oh, Assault Marines are gonna jump. It's lucky they came out there because he would have lost at least one generator. Here come those Sluggers with the incredibly scary Nob Leader. I think he does something crazy like 65 DPS power melee. And he's got a load of hit points. He is incredibly scary. Also gives them this awesome Swampum, which you're seeing now, gives them 40% damage resistance and +1 speed. Assault Marines injured, and Warboss is going to go down again, I think. Or is he? No! Lives. Slugger's able to type as Tactical Marines just in time, and Apothecary also retreated out there. Wow, that was close. Now he's bashing power. Sluggers using their burners at range to do so. Dropping models though to these tactical marines. This flamer doesn't seem to have done a whole lot for him. Might come into play now though, shooting at the shooter boys. 266, 432. You see the difference when you don't have that flame resistant armor. Scouts capping this contested power point, and look at the map switch. She's going to get a triple cap here. Crewfinity, shotgun scouts very late in the day for these guys. Usually you see it in tier 1 or you don't see it at all, but we see it in tier 2. Warboss is level 2, the Apothecary also level 2 with that customized storm bolter. 32 piercing DPS, as you can see there. Assault squad do have their sergeants, and Crewfinity, I think he should have got the Death Dread, even if it meant he didn't have his Warboss up and couldn't upgrade his Sluggers and his Pain Boy. I would have got a Death Dread up. 266, 376, double cap for Crewfinity. He's upgraded his army completely now, as Knob leaders on all of his squads. Pain Boy has the stronger git source, and the Warboss still with his tier 1 war gear. These scouts capping up everything. Might run into this Pain Boy. Where's the Pain Boy doing capping over here? Really strange use of the Pain Boy. Massive blob cap here from Soul Drinkers. Oh, he's spreading out. Basically his whole army sitting over here. Crewfinity says, sod you, I'm gonna go for your power. And why not, with double shooter boys fully upgraded and those burners. They're not gonna last long, these gens. Pain Boy taking his natural back. Should be chasing off the scouts, I think. Maybe he knows that they have shotguns. Going straight for the node. The Warboss can decap it, and they're just gonna swap power here. He only has one generator, Crewfinity. He's gone for the Weird Boy then. Probably a better choice at this stage, since a missile launcher melter bomb combo would be pretty painful for a Death Dread. Weird Boy gets jumped. Need some support. They're just gonna burn down each other's power completely. Yes, and this one has even decapped it. We need to turn and defend now. Scouts and Pain Boy dancing around, capping stuff. 253, 351. Scouts down on model, but that's no big deal. Pain Boy's caught them now in a melee charge. Has Soul Drinkers realised? Is he kiting away actively here? Or is this an order he did ages ago? No, he is kiting towards the rest of his army. You see all those green hexagons below the models. That's the health regeneration aura from the Apothecary. Passive effect within a radius of 20. 237, 351, 2-to-1 cap for Soul Drinkers. Crewfinity got caught there in a bad position, so instantly retreats out. His Sluggers busy capping. His Pain Boy also in retreat. Here comes a Weird Boy Warboss combo. What can he do here? He knocks down his own Weird Boy with his Angry Bits. Weird Boy then gets jumped. That was a bit clumsy, which I suppose is pretty Yorkie. I'm sure he wanted to charge in and use the Warp Vomit as he was charging in there, but he was on his arse and couldn't do anything. So Soul Drinker's taking the map back. Really a missed opportunity for Crewfinity going into tier 2, not getting that Death Dread up to cause havoc. Apothecary on his way to level 3. Warboss a bit behind in XP. Sluggers really are on capping duty. They must be level 2. Yes, they are. Pain Boy still level 1 because he was busy running around capping instead of fighting. I suppose he has to use something to cap. A bit odd to use a sub-commander with such a great support ability. Wow, Apothecary gets shot to pieces, goes down. Apparently it's quite funny. Apothecary had armor purity on the way. Yeah, the big shooters for the shooter boys have incredible range. Can shoot you from miles off. 216, 350, a 1-to-1 cap. And it's, wow, a whirlwind on the field for Soul Drinkers. Not expecting that either. 2-to-1 for Crewfinity though. Has the natural back and has the contested back. Weird Boy finished the cap on the central wreck. There's the whirlwind doing its thing. Disruption from long range. passive disruption as well. You don't need to aim these shots like the Manticore or anything, they'll just go off automatically, but it does need to be still to fire. It's running right into trouble. Look at the damage that Wood Boy did with that rear armor hit. Bang bang hammer on rear armor also, only has 400 hit points. I think bam again. What's going on here? Weird Boy capping. We have scouts just staring at a power node. Well done, lads. Weird Boy to see if he can pull off a good warp vomit here, which might just outright win the engagement if he can. Oh, Slugger's forced off. That's changed things, and he gets jumped. He really should have used his warp vomit before he got jumped there, and now he's forced off the Weird Boy. And down goes the Warboss. A really mismanaged engagement for Crewfinity. Should have used the warp vomit as soon as he saw all of this stuff, certainly before the jump. Well, when doing its work there, doing some really good work. Look at the damage it did to those shooters. It did have its damage buffed recently, but the shots work kind of like fragmentation grenades, so all of the damage is concentrated in the center, and it goes down quite considerably as you get away from the blast radius. 210, 312. Power bash here. Crewfinity just needs to get his act together a bit with his engagement management. Weird. I think I've seen a single warp vomit yet. Really odd. He's going into tier 3 and hasn't used warp vomit. He's got 485 red as well. Orks, of course, unique in that they passively generate their red, called War. That's because it's used for most of their abilities, not withstanding the War ability itself, which most of their infantry have. And they need to use that to give the Weird Boy energy. That's why he has so much. It sounds nuts he having 500 energy, but it's because these abilities cost tons of energy, and you need to use War surrounding him to regenerate it quickly. 182, 312. Scouts gonna get shot to pieces here if they're not careful. Weird Boy used the cap again. Likes to use his sub-command as the cap, doesn't he? Well, he's in tier 3. He's a ways off getting anything juicy. Just get some... I assume he's just going to go for a knob squad, but some flash hits on those double tacks with their blasters would be quite nasty. And both players really blobbing their armies up and just kind of marching them around the map and just seeing what's happening. If either of them split up a bit, I think this might be... They might have a considerable advantage here. Soul Drinkers is splitting up his scouts, which is pretty obvious, I suppose, but I think he could afford to split off one of these tactical marine squads. This one with the flamer, keep it over on his east side, capping up and bashing gens, and then fight with the rest of your army. He does have the armor pretty now and does have improved medical equipment, so he can sit back, shoot stuff, and throw out them heals. He's level 3 as well. Scouts mixing it up with sluggers. There's a shotgun blast, but they don't want to wait around for those sluggers to get up. Losing a model as they get away, but generally I think these scouts have done quite well. Busy capping stuff and doing annoying stuff like that. Sluggers losing a bit of health. Shooter boys, if they level, they are level 2 and level 2. We're going to see an engagement here. Can he get that warp vomit off? It's so important. There it is. He gets it on one of the squads. Soul Drinker's doing a good job keeping his tactical marine split there, but he's still forced off. Thanks to that awesome stun, the warp vomit. 180, 241. And now the whirlwind backing off, and it will go down to just sheer numbers of these melee and piercing attacks here. Weird Boy does a lot of damage with his basic attack. I thought it was psychic PvP damage, but it might be explosive. Because psychic PvP has a very bad modifier versus vehicles. Smack, great arm here, almost finished off the whirlwind. Grief, it's definitely done for. It's definitely done for. Unless these assault marines pull off a miracle. There's Angels of Death and there's Merciless Strike trying to hold up this entire Ork army. We're trying to finish off this whirlwind. Can it stop and get a shot off? No, it moves before it can shoot. He's trying to finish it off here. Weird Boy can't shoot though. Hits terrain. That was a big thing, but he does go down. Pain Boy, I think, finished it off. And Pain Boy hits level 2. Rocks on the big blob of stuff. Smack. Smack. I'm sure he would have loved to use Warp Vomit first, but it probably would have been the same result. He would have just retreated out of it. but did okay. Took out 2 tactical marines and now he can bash power. Whirlwind down. Both players in tier 3 Crewfinity with tons of wreck. Needs to get some power up and maybe defend it a little bit better. Weird Boy capping. Has the warpath, speed and damage buff, but yeah, the damage buff is only to melee attacks, I believe. Makes it pretty dangerous to fight sluggers with that buff. They kind of zip around alongside the Weird Boy. Doesn't mean that you can't sit back and use the Weird Boy's attack because you're running around with the warpath. Sluggers moving in. There's that merciless strike, and look how powerful that is. 163, 214, big engagement. Weird Boy's not in it. Warboss is not in it, and that means it's going to be a victory for the Space Marines. The Assault Marines doing a fantastic job there, soaking up so much damage. They didn't even lose a model. Apothecary were getting shot down as well and forced off. And there is, and they shall know no fear on the double tactical marines, giving them, I think it's 40% damage resistance, and they will move slower, be I think it's immune to suppression, and perform those knockback melee attacks, but they're completely shut down by a nicely placed warp vomit there and forced off. Warboss was coming in, and he's gone for cyborg implants to try and combat his assault marines, which is doing a good job for Soul Drinkers since he replaced them. 163, 107. The map is pretty red with 2 decapped points. He needs to get his power back, which he's doing with his Apothecary. And VP's relatively even, and more sluggers on the way for Crewfinity. He has no power income. Why is he not buying gens and stuff? He needs to cap it back first, obviously. Perfect. Oh, did he grenade himself or something? Obviously I missed it. Shooter Boy's getting away with 2 models here. He must have thrown a grenade and hit his own models with it. Probably threw the grenade and retreated into it, which sometimes happens. Sluggers level 3, these guys are freaking dangerous. Painboy level 2 has the cyborg implant equipment. Has he used it? Usually it's the +1 speed implant that you see used. You can get +1 speed, +1 health, or I think it's 10% damage buff. Not +1 health, plus 10% health, I think it is. +1 health. Sluggers capping, +1 capping going on. Very quick engagements and then capping is what we're seeing here. Tank busters on the way for Crewfinity, expecting a Predator tank perhaps. He does have that second Slugger squad, and that's to help him cap, I think. Might not see any upgrades for those guys. Shotgun blast and the scouts back away. Getting on their way to level 2. Tank busters hitting the field. And more tank busters. And we are seeing a Predator tank. So it might turn out to be an incredibly shrewd choice. Especially if the Weird Boy can get a shot in. 2 tank buster barrages will finish off a tank pretty easily. They can hit, which is not easy. Scouts skirting around the edge of the map, avoiding all the orcs, and there you see that was the cyborg implant, which has buffed these sluggers, I assume with +1 speed. I was not paying attention to what their health was before. 140, 175, it might be more than 10% health they get with the cyborg. You can get Nov squads up to incredible amounts of health with the cyborg implant and them leveling up and stuff. Double tank busters here. Predator tank on the field has an autocannon on top, and heavy bolters on the sponsons is a big autocannon that fires slowly. Does a massive amount of damage, so like that. 140, 158. One shooter taken down. A massive engagement here. There's Angels of Death. 50% damage reduction to all of the Apothecary's infantry units and immunity to knockback. Shooter Boy is getting low. Assault Marines also in a bit of trouble here. He should have used user choppers. He didn't need to use user choppers. Takes down the Assault Marines. Shooter Boy is just about getting away, and double tactical Marines in a bad spot. Shotgun blast from the scouts. He's going to lose a tank buster squad, is he? Yes, he does. Crazy, crazy engagement. 140, 133. These tank busters need to run. There we go. Just about, I think, gets them away, tying up the Apothecary. No, Apothecary turns and smacks him down with his elbow. Lost both of his tank busters, and a Predator tank lives. 140, 122. Crazy, crazy engagement. So what did we see? Assault Marines went down. Predator tank almost went down, and both tank busters were lost. Everything else survives. No, Crewfinity also lost the second Slugger Boy squad that he purchased. Here's the first one getting away with Odd Boys on it. 140, 109. And his Predator tank could be a massive pain in the arse now. Crewfinity replacing his tank busters. Don't cost power, which is good for him. This thing needs repairs. He needs to be careful. He doesn't want to lose this thing. Got it to level 2 in that fight. 140, 101. Tactical Marines on capping duty. And they have a plasma gun, really? Effective, very effective versus heavy infantry, which is basically knobs for Orks. So flash kits are also now heavy infantry. Sluggers level 3, incredibly scary. And the Pain Boy also putting his weight at almost level 3. Weird Boy level 1. Did not see if he used his Warp Vomit in that big engagement there. 129, 101. We did see the Odd Boys go up. Haven't seen a single use your choppers. This is almost a guaranteed win of a melee fight, because it gives I think it gives something crazy like plus 60 melee skill and a buff to melee damage. So it basically means they cannot be the victim of a special attack and perform loads of them. And melee special attacks win melee fights. Here's the third Assault Marine squad. There's a good merciless strike, but these guys unleveled are gonna be vulnerable. There's a Apothecary heal in all sorts of trouble now. Looks like the Weird Boy is choosing to use his Warpath for that melee buff, and the Sluggers are going absolutely ballistic. That must have been what he did in the last engagement as well. And that's the third Assault Marine squad down. 129, 101. Ridiculous, apparently. Sending your Assault Marines into level 3 or level 4 Sluggers buffed by Warpath and a Warboss and not retreating them. It's apparently ridiculous to lose them in that scenario. Pain Boy there as well. Come on, man. You see why he wants to get Assault Marines on the field for that merciless strike, but you've got to use it and back away and have something else there to do the damage. He doesn't quite have the zeal to get Terminators. Would that even help him that much here? Sluggers will do a lot of damage, level 4 Sluggers. 124, 98. Librarian would have been pretty cool, I think, if he could get it alongside those Assault Marines. Help them get out with Veil of Time. Use his Force Barrier to disrupt the double shoots as well. That is nasty. Rocks with a Warp Vomit. And Sluggers running in. Lots of Daka as well. Looks like Crewfinity has this wrapped up, but Soul Drinkers has a Razorback on the way. Still has double level 4 Tactical Marines. Has a level 5 Apothecary as well, so has that sweet level 5 heal. His heal gets better every 2 levels. The Warboss did go down incidentally. He's going to be super angry when he gets up there. He is repurchased. 124, 69. Razorback purchase in tier 3, not something you see very often. These Sluggers are so scary. Pain Boy coming back out of base also. Soul Drinker's trying to get his natural victory point back. Yes, his Predator tank sitting on the east side. He needs it OP, you would think. Being a bit more cautious with his Tactical Marines, wary of that Warp Vomit, I would think. Double tank busters are up, which is why he's keeping the Predator tank away, is it? But he's driving in his Razorback. Weird Boy is forced off. Was no Stone Guard veterans a big mistake from Soul Drinkers? Those Hellfire rounds really do pack a punch versus light infantry and commanders. And down goes the Razorback. No, survives that rear arm hit. 124, 37. It's a 2-to-1 though for Crewfinity. And I think the lack of Stone Guard was a mistake. Why would you get the Plasma Gun instead of Stone Guard veterans without a Knob squad? or a Flashkit squad on the field. You could argue that he was expecting them, but I think the Stone Guard purchase is just much more viable, especially since you get that permanent sergeant with the Stone Guard purchase. Scout trying to be sneaky, but they're going to run into a bunch of greenskins, and it's not going to turn out well for them. 1, 2, 4, 19. Here comes the Predator tank. Needs to focus down those tank busters pretty quickly. Doing a good job of it. Takes down one squad. 2 more tank buster squads are here though, and another one goes down. 1, 2, 4, 9. Crewfinity just happy to keep this stuff here and try and hold out for the victory, but it might backfire. Lost 2 tank buster squads. This one only has 1 model. He's going to lose it if he's not careful, really not paying attention. Loses all 3 tank buster squads, does whack the scouts. 1, 2, 4, 7. Soldrick is going to get the 2-to-1 cap. He has 2 heavily damaged vehicles and nothing to repair them with though. 1, 2, 2, 7. Can anything touch this Predator tank though? Wow, Shooter Boy's getting shot down a lot. Can the Sluggers finish off this Predator tank with their single power weapon in there? Power weapons will do a little bit of damage to vehicles. I think it's 30% damage. Might even be less than that. Down goes the Predator tank. Razorback still around, has that twin link heavy bolter on top. Sluggers wiped. 1047. Soul Drinkers is in this game. There's a Librarian on the way on the field. In fact, here he is. Has a full sword, which is a power weapon, and a bunch of support abilities. Also has a very dangerous smite, which would have really helped out in his engages. I think Stone Guard veterans and Librarian would have been a pretty nice choice for Soul Drinkers earlier on. It's easy to say in hindsight. He obviously wanted to get that Predator tank out quite quickly. 88-7, double cap for Soul Drinkers. He's in this game. Crewfinity really falling apart at the end here, losing his sluggers. Level 4 sluggers going down is a massive blow. Lost how many tank? He's lost 5 tank buster squads, I think, in total. There's another one. 71-7. Razorback will go down immediately. There we go. Librarian is doing what? He's fighting the Warboss. 65-7. 1-to-1 cap now. Crewfinity will get the 2-to-1, will he? No, tank busters wipe trying to cap. Wow, Crewfinity really is falling apart here. Painboy did get away. He does finish the cap, but how long he's going to have it for? Not very. Tactical Marine's already moving in, and he almost loses these Shooter Boys. GG says Crewfinity, and he does retain the 2-to-1 cap for just about long enough. Good grief, crazy ending. Warboss was level 6 at the end. Apothecary level 8, wow. Had his 2 level 4 Tactical Marine squads, which did give him a really solid base throughout the game. Those sluggers were awesome until they went down. The Painboy did really well also, and those scouts also did well before they went down. Was surprised to see no tier 3 units whatsoever from Crewfinity. Obviously expecting the Predator tank with those double tank busters, but he lost them in droves, tank busters. Librarian and Stone Guard, as I said, might have been a bit more useful earlier in the game, but he did well. Winning out to 64 VPs was a close game, well fought game by both players. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.